Welcome to this course on Pinet Lab installation. So far so good, we've successfully installed Pinet Lab. We have successfully installed iShare 2. We've seen how to automatically download images. We spun up our router and it's powered on. So we've seen that it's possible to download more images, checkpoints, sofas, FortiGates, many more images. You can so the cost is yours. You can do anything you want to do, download as many images as possible. This course was brought to you by Grezitech Company Limited. Your instructor, John Paul Chukwujeku. We have many more courses available for you to enroll in. We have the Checkpoint CCSA RA21, Checkpoint CCSE. Your CCSA stands for Checkpoint Certified Security Administrator. Your CCSE stands for the Checkpoint Certified Security Expert. So we have these two courses explaining everything about checkpoint firewalls, from your threat prevention blades like the threat emulation, your threat emulation blade, the threat extraction, which are combinedly used to remove potential malicious files or contents from your file. So let's say maybe a user is trying to download a particular file from the internet. With your threat emulation, that file is going to be analyzed in a sandbox environment to check if that file is malicious or clean. If it's malicious, the download of that file would stop immediately depending on the configurations that you've done, or threat extraction comes into play. So with threat extraction, it can remove all the malware from that file that you're downloading, and then you can download a sanitized version. So let's say you're trying to download a PDF file, and then because there's checkpoints analyzes that file in a sandbox environment using the threat emulation blade, and then after analyzing it in the sandbox environments with the threat emulation blade, if that file is malicious, if your PDF file is malicious, let's say maybe it contains some JavaScripts in it, it contains some macros, some hyperlinks, and other potentially malicious contents. The threat extraction blade would automatically remove the hyperlinks, the macros, the JavaScript, and other potential contents, other malicious contents. After removing it, it will reconstruct and it will sanitize that document by reconstructing it, and then it will give you a safer version of the document to download. Now, all of this is done in the background. That's what your threat extraction does in combination with your threat emulation. Of course, you have the IPS intrusion prevention system. You have antivirus, antibots for blocking. With your antibots, you can block malicious communication between an infected system and a remote command and control server. Okay, so aside threat emulation, threat extraction, IPS, antivirus, antibots, there's the content awareness, there is the identity awareness. There are so many things you can learn about. Checkpoint is very interesting. So if you're interested, or if you want to become a Checkpoint certified security administrator, you can enroll in or you can enroll for our courses on checkpoints. Aside the perimeter firewall configurations and everything, if you're interested in endpoint security, because you know that your firewalls, CCSA and CCSE, that they're talking about the firewall and the security management server, that is at the perimeter level. But if you want to protect endpoints, you want to protect your laptops, you want to protect your servers, you can utilize Checkpoint Harmony endpoints. Okay, so your Checkpoint Harmony endpoints which is a security solution, comes with features like so you have there's the antivirus part of it, there's the anti-malware part of it, there's the anti-bot, you have anti-ransomware to protect you from ransomware. With ransomware, hackers out there can send trojans and malicious softwares or send malicious files. Okay, let's say maybe as an example, a particular user is trying to download something from the internet. That user visits a malicious site and the person is not aware. And then in the process, it downloads ransomware, it downloads malicious files or downloads malware, and then suddenly his hard disk is locked or he cannot log into his laptop anymore. And then there's a pop-up saying that, oh, pay $100 before you gain access to your laptop. So that particular user can be said to be a victim of the ransomware attack. But if that user had the Checkpoint Harmony endpoint security solution on his laptop, then he would not have been a victim. So there is a Checkpoint has lots of interesting solutions, just like we said, anti-ransomware, anti-malware, forensic analysis, media protection, port protection. You can encrypt flash drives. You can block flash drives from being used. There's the full disk encryption. You can encrypt your hard drive as well. So there is the credential reuse protection so that you cannot use corporate passwords on social media sites. There's a safe browsing. So many things actually. There's also the EDR, endpoint detection and response. There's a threat hunting part of it. If you want to gain more knowledge about this, you can enroll for our course on the checkpoint endpoint security. And then if you want a combination of both, so you're interested in perimeter security, you're interested in endpoint security, you can enroll for our checkpoint threat prevention course. And then finally, you can also enroll for our course on vulnerability assessment so that you can see how to utilize popular softwares like your Rapid7, Acunetics, Nessus, Bobsuit, OWASP, Zetattack Proxy, and many more solutions in checking for vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, potential, for anything that could expose your environment to malicious threat actors out there. So you'll see how to run vulnerability assessments, both the network vulnerability assessments where you're checking for vulnerabilities within a network. So you're scanning laptops, you're scanning servers, you're trying to see if there are loopholes or if there's anything, if there are vulnerabilities on the network part. Or maybe you're interested in web vulnerabilities. You're trying to check for vulnerabilities on a website. Yeah, it's covered in our course, whether it's the network, whether it's the web app vulnerability, or whether it's mobile app. So let's say maybe you're trying to check for vulnerabilities in a mobile app, or say maybe you're trying to check for vulnerabilities. Say maybe any type of vulnerability, whether it's the network vulnerabilities, the web app vulnerabilities, the mobile vulnerability, or maybe you want to perform stress testing. Okay, you're building an application and you want to know you know, whether if 1,000 users are logged in at the same time, if that application is going to fail or if it's going to stand strong. It's covered in our vulnerability assessment course. Or maybe you want to test your employees to see if they're going to fall victims to phishing campaigns out there, to phishing, situations where threat actors are trying to gain access and then they are sending malicious files, malicious attachments. Let's say you want to see whether your employees are knowledgeable enough if they can identify phishing emails to ensure that they are not victims of business email compromise and the rest of it. You can also enroll for our course on vulnerability assessments. It covers phishing. it covers phishing as well. So you can use popular tools like, you know, you can actually use your manage in sorry you can use your know before. Yeah, so it covers know before and other softwares as well for running the vulnerability assessment, for running phishing campaigns, whether you're using Office 365 or you're using the Google Suite or any other emailing solution. It covers everything. Most of these courses on Udemy, you can enroll for them. Okay, we are actually very experienced when it comes to network security. We've deployed checkpoint firewalls, we've deployed endpoint security solutions like a passkey, Bitdefender, McAfee, even checkpoint how many endpoints. Yeah. Aside that, we've deployed firewalls like Sophos, Palo Alto, Cisco Firepower, and also network access control solutions like Foxcount and Cisco ICE. So you'll be getting a lot. You'll be learning about switches, routers, next generation firewalls, web application firewalls, network access control, endpoint security, email security, data loss prevention, and vulnerability assessments when you enroll for our courses. With this, we'd like to thank you as we've come to the end of this particular course. Thank you.